Welcome back to another week of What's Hockey. Now, we're going to start off with the Around the Hockey segment that we have, where we're going to go through news around the league and other leagues involved in hockey. And we're going to start off with a bit of a tragedy. Keaton, would you like to clue the audience in who may not be familiar with the incident that went on over in Europe?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure the team names, but for the most part, it looks pretty tragic. This guy unfortunately got hit in the neck by an ice skate and got slashed. And
Adam Johnson.
Yeah, Adam Johnson, former NHL player. He died, and that video looks pretty gruesome. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it, but I don't want to say that he's intentional as far as killing the guy, but I mean the reaction of the body. I think his name is Matt. Sorry, forgot his name. 1 second.
And the reason
Matt Petgrave. Matt Petgrave. His body looked a little awkward when he hit into a guy. I mean, it was a collision, so it looks awkward as it is, but his left leg, I believe, came up and just, which is pretty bad. I
know that there was an inquisition about it, right? That they were saying if there was something more felonious at play.
I think the police got involved and are doing investigation. Matt Petgrave might even be charged for manslaughter. So it's
and we're not saying
bad,
it was intentional. They're just looking into it,
I mean, I don't know as far as intentionality. You can really ever see that, but it's a tragedy.
And like we were saying, we're not saying intentional to kill, or it could have been just trying to bust him in the cheek or something. I don't know, and we don't even know if it was intentional to begin with. It could have just been unintentional. But anyway,
nice.
And so there was also talk about requiring hockey players around the world over 18 start wearing neck protection. And I know with hockey, they always fight against protection, where it took them a while to get visors on. And the captain of the Stars, Jamie Benn, doesn't wear a visor because he was grandfathered into that. And so it's interesting. I think that it would be good to get some protection on your neck.
Oh, absolutely.
That makes sense, right? But apparently some hockey players would be resistant to that.
I mean, I feel like it would, limit mobility in a way. Not having used to something just there, I guess. It just might be a little weird for your neck to move around. But, I mean, I'm all for safety because, I can't imagine anybody wants to see that many deaths on the ice rink. That's
and I remember seeing a clip. I don't know if it was in the 80s or 70s, but there's a goalie, I think it was, who had his neck slashed, and the trainer runs out onto the ice and was able to hold it long enough for paramedics to get there and help him and everything. And I think it was something like if he had bled for an extra 2 seconds, he would have perished. And so getting any kind of protection is, especially when there's blades on right there.
Yeah, those are so sharp.
Yeah, man, it just makes the most sense to protect the players and everything.
Yeah,
and now I'm gonna transition to something a little bit lighter. There's an image of a kid at his first hockey game. He's attending the San Jose Sharks versus the Vancouver Canucks. He's a Sharks fan. This kid, so he's holding a poster that says, I'm at my first game. Keaton, what was the score of that game?
Well, if you're from the San Jose Sharks side, it will be 0-8. And that picture, he is holding up a sign that says my very first Sharks game. He looked pretty depressed because it was 0-8. But I mean, I really wish the Sharks can pull some wins out of their ass. I mean, they're still winless, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, they're 0-10-1. So ultimately, I feel like that kid deserves a win. Hopefully at home so he can see it and go there, maybe. But, honestly, I don't blame him for not wanting to go again.
Do we blame the parent for taking him to a winless team?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it's just a tragedy. He was born in San Jose. I mean, what can he do?
That's rough. Yeah, no, I just imagine it's like, come on, little Johnny, it's your birthday. Let's go to a Sharks game. And he's, let's do it. And his team just gets pounded and pounded over and over. 8-0 when the image was taken of him in the stands. Mind you,
I don't even know if that was the ending score. So it
I was just about to say, so it was the second intermission. I think it may have, I think Vancouver may have relented a bit, but let me go ahead and confirm that. That is, it was only the second intermission. They had more to play, and it was 8-0. The Sharks are just a disaster, man. That's an awful, awful team. The game finished. Good job, internet. The game finished at one point, and the final score was 10-1. So he saw a goal. If the family stayed long enough, he did see. Hopefully, he saw a goal. 10-1,
I would hope so.
Man.
I mean. Yeah, I mean that's pretty bad. I mean, I also just took a look. They lost to Carolina 6-3. I mean, it's just not great.
And don't get me wrong, like the Canucks, they score goals. You look what they did in their last game against Edmonton. I think it was 6-2. Yeah, I have it right here. I don't know why. Yeah, 6-2. They dropped. Well, the Blues aren't the best either, but they dropped 5 on them. Dropped 5 on the Panthers.
No way. Dude, so after they lost to the Canucks 10-1, they lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins 2 days later, 10-2.
Oh, good grief!
So they allowed 20 goals in the last couple games they've played, which is not very good. I'll say.
You know, I don't support bandwagoning, but for that kid. Pick another team, guy. Just pick another.
Yeah.
It's not going well there, man.
I feel like isn't there a Sacramento Kings? He could just be
a Kings
LA
King. The LA Kings.
Yeah, there you go.
Sacramento Kings,
Thinking about
the basketball team.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at this hockey
colors.
thing, but
he needs to switch allegiance immediately. That poor kid.
And speaking of winless teams, we got the Vegas Knights. They actually took their first loss against the Ducks. So all good teams must have bad days at some point, so.
I suppose, and speaking of a team that you root for, and a team that my team just lost to, the Bruins, Boston's on its hair, man.
Boston Bruins?
No, I'm about to bring up your team. Their only loss of the year is actually against the Red Wings.
Which is surprising, because the first time we met, we lost pretty bad.
To Boston?
Yeah, I think it was like 1-5 or something. I don't know. Let me just confirm it real quick. But
sure.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. But we did beat them again. It was 5-4. So that was pretty solid. Man, where is it?
Dude, the goalie for Boston is insane. I was watching Monday night's game against the Stars, and while the score was 3-2, that game wasn't that close for long stretches. Boston had dominated. When the Stars
I honestly turned it off after it was 3-1 because I thought it was over. I mean, it was basically over, but
so it's like
that last goal came in at garbage time.
And it was even worse because when the Stars finally scored their first goal, immediately Boston responded. 9 seconds later, Boston scores, and so that was rough. And the Stars get their second goal with 15 seconds or so left on the clock, and so it was a rough one.
I saw a stat, at least in the second period's intermission, Jeremy Swayman, saved 21 out of 21 shots until they finally let him score in the third period.
Dude, and there were periods where, early on we weren't getting too many shots, but there were periods in the game where we were lighting him up and we just couldn't break him.
Swayman allowed 5 goals in the last game against the Red Wings, so, pretty much made up for that.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening there. I still contend that whenever the Stars meet the Red Wings, and it's not always a perfect circle, but I don't know. It just was an off night for the Dallas Stars. I will say they definitely have to improve their penalty kill. My goodness, I think they're like second from the bottom right now across, or not penalty kill. Their power play, their penalty kill. They're fantastic. Their power play, they've converted 9% or 9.9%, 10% of their power plays. 10%. You have an extra man on the ice. That's unacceptable. That is abhorrent. I know your team, the Red Wings, they're pretty good on the power play, aren't they? They convert 28%. So they scored almost 3 times more than we do on the power play.
Yeah, we're actually top 5 power play teams.
Yeah, man.
Behind the Devils, Lightning, Canucks, and the Rangers. Which will be an interesting game because I think it's, tonight at 6:30, the Rangers play the Red Wings. So that should be an interesting matchup. They seem pretty even on paper. I mean, at least the last 5 games, the Rangers have been a little bit better. But we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to watch that, see hopefully the Red Wings win, pull it off.
I probably should have wrote it down, but did you have the Rangers winning their division? Do you remember?
I think so, yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think all the standings are more or less the same, except for the Avalanche are under the Stars currently.
As they should be. Apparently.
But yeah, I mean, you called out the Maple Leafs, right? They're not looking so great, dude.
Yeah, I had oh god, I don't remember winning that division.
Realistically, as far as current standings, it looks like their Bruins might take it away, but I hope Red Wings can pull that shit off.
I had Boston winning that one, right?
I thought you said they're Maple Leafs.
Did I say Toronto?
I think so, yeah.
I maybe did. It's possible. I don't. Again, there's someone watching this like why don't these guys do any? And why don't they like know who they pick? Like that's terrible.
Yeah, we didn't write it down.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Like,
it's okay.
Yeah, it don't matter. Anyway, and going back to sticking with Boston, I guess. So if you and we were talking about the penalty, power play conversion percentage earlier.
Yeah.
Well, you go to the penalty kill, and it's the complete opposite when it comes to what the Stars are doing. Now, mind you, Boston is number 1 in that. So I mean, they're a difficult team to score on in general. But even if you have a man on the ice, they have a penalty kill percentage of 94%. So that's absurd. Right behind it, the Stars are at 92.5. Again, my boy Ottinger, the Otter in there. Yeah, man, it was a rough one. Monday night, Boston got the best of the Stars, but they're a good team. I'm not super upset about that. And looking forward, I know the Stars have a game Thursday against the Blue Jackets in Columbus, Ohio. And they hit up Winnipeg right after that next on Saturday. The Winnipeg one, they do have some solid players with Scheifele, and I know their goalie's pretty solid, but I would definitely take the Stars again.
I think it's Kyle Connor. He's pretty good too.
They got some players. They do.
I think he's like their main shooter. He's pretty solid.
Yeah. No, I think every game I've ever seen us play against Winnipeg, it's a pretty good one. And I've seen some outrage from Winnipeg fans because they're saying like we've lost our team once and now no one's showing up to the games. They're worried they're going to lose their team again, and they just got back to Winnipeg. So I think they were saying that there's something like 6,000 empty seats at the last game or something.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if you're the ownership group, just start handing out the tickets for free. Jesus Christ, man! Like,
or
do
just
something.
Discounts or something.
Yeah, I saw one person. Yeah, I saw someone comment like, "Well, they're too expensive. Like, how do you expect me to pay for that when, everything's so expensive in the world right now?"
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, fair point. So that's kind of on ownership to really get those tickets out there. And then
I mean, Winnipeg isn't like Toronto or bigger city like that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that big. So I mean, you can't really just put a giant price tag on these tickets. It's just
Yeah. And again, I mean, like, I'm not from Winnipeg. I don't know how much they're going for, but I do know hockey tickets in general tend to be more expensive than, like, a basketball ticket. So
I
don't know,
do feel
man.
like basketball. There's a little bit more games to the season, so I mean,
It's the exact same amount. It's 82
really?
games. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know if, like, there's an extra charge because,
Probably
like,
because they got to keep the ice cool.
there's some extra overhead on keeping the ice cool. I
Yeah.
don't know. You're paying the Zamboni guy instead of just a guy with a
Oh,
mop.
for sure. I mean,
But,
dude, honestly, it's a little bit more equipment, so I mean, it kind of makes sense. But
But I will tell you, 6,000 empty seats versus 6,000 discounted seats. You're making more money on the discounted seats. So
100%.
you should at least attempt something. Hell, they'll buy some nachos or something. So
yeah, I hope the owner of the Winnipeg Jets pays attention.
yeah,
to the
come on.
podcast.
I know he listens to us.
He needs some. He needs some pointers. I don't get it.
I know he listens to us. That's
He's our first subscriber.
he actually encouraged us to do the podcast.
That's true. Very true.
And then so who do the Red Wings have coming up, Keaton?
I mean, their next game, which is today, they play the Rangers. But
Oh, you just said
I
that.
guess we can. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I can go a little bit further and see if they play. Oh, they play the Canadians on Thursday. Looks like a 6:00 game. Might be a close matchup, but I think the Red Wings will win that one just because. I don't know.
Just because you don't
Just because. Yeah, just because.
Hey, just because.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for the matchup today because I mean that seems a little bit more closely matched. I mean, the Rangers might win it, but at the very least, we'll put up a good fight.
And that's all you can ask for sometimes.
Yeah, honestly.
It's the worst watching teams get dominated for 3 periods. Like, you almost need the intermission to breathe a little bit. Like last night's game, man. I know it finished 3-2. It's technically never out of reach, but it really felt like it. The Stars just weren't putting up the goal.
I mean, it was
for
2-0 by the time the fucking third period started. So I mean, honestly, they were just dominating the whole time until
They really
basically
were, man.
garbage time.
Yeah, no, they really were. Boston.
And then, like
would
you
play.
said, they scored immediately right after the Stars did. So I mean, I don't know.
If I said Toronto, I kind of want to veto that prediction and go with Boston after watching them.
Yeah, I mean, Boston looks pretty good this year at least, but
Yeah, no, for sure. I know they're great against the penalty kill. Now their power play conversion is kind of on the lower end, but it's like in the middle.
It's not that
Hey,
good.
power play and penalty kill matter, man. It's a big
for
part of
sure.
the game. Like I promise you, the Stars can't. If they're gonna hang around the 9.9% mark of conversions on their power plays, they're not gonna go deep. You need to convert those. That has to be fixed. So, Old Boar, that's our head coach, right? Old Boar. I forget his first
wouldn't
name,
know.
so I'm just calling him Boar right now.
nice.
There we go, Peter DeBoer. I don't know why. Like, I swear I know. Like, I'm watching the game last night, and I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy. And then, like, we hop on this podcast, and I'm like, what are the Dallas Stars? Like, my brain goes blank. Yeah, Peter DeBoer.
Yeah.
He needs to get that. He needs to get it together, man. That is unacceptable. And I know we're dealing with injury, but, like, come on, guy. Come on. Actually, Keaton,
Yeah.
we're doing so. And I should know the guy who got hurt. Might be, but. The guy that goes down, I'm pretty sure, is a defenseman. No, dang man, awful. No,
He's
we
probably
had injuries.
offensive or defensive.
We had injuries
It's one or the other.
to Radek Foxels. God, dude, this is awful by me. All right, give me like 10 seconds. There was 2 injuries to like centers on our team, and because of that, we had to bring up. Actually, we couldn't bring a player up because we didn't have enough salary cap room. And so we had our healthy scratch defenseman step in. And so we played 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, which a lot of coaches don't like. So, I mean, we were dealing with a little adversity there, but not enough to just be dominated the whole time, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to look for injuries, but I can't find it. I don't know.
It was, I got you.
Really specific people, players.
Yeah, no, and it was Radek. Yeah, it was Radek Fox. Radek Fox and Matt Duchene, and Matt Duchene's been very good this season. We just got him from Old Nashville, and
Old Nashville.
I kind of hated that guy when he was with the Panthers, but on our team he's doing good. So
Yeah.
I mean, missing those two players, missing Duchene in particular, that's tough. It definitely makes it more difficult to put out. Well, you had to adjust your lines. You had to work with what you had, but
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you have anything else? I mean, I'm basically just kind of grasping at straws here.
No, not really. You want me to just cut this part out and then I'll wrap it up real quick?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I can cut it out.
Okay. And I guess that'll do it for the second episode of the What's Hockey podcast.